Hello everyone, welcome to Autonomous Academy. This is our fifth lecture on electrostatics. In last lecture, we had studied about electric potential, potential difference and different characteristics of potential. And in this lecture, we will study about electric lines of force, electric flux, Gauss law and application of Gauss law. So hope you all like it. Let's start. So our first topic is electric lines of force. The idea of lines of force was given by Michael Faraday. These are imaginary lines which give visual idea of electric field, its magnitude and direction. A line of force is continuous curve. The tangent to at a point gives the direction of electric field and its concentration gives the strength of field. In this figure shows electric lines of force. Here we consider 2 points, point A and point B, and a small area associated with point A and point B. In point A, the number of lines is greater than as compared to area B. So here strength of electric field is stronger than electric field at B or area B. Properties of electric lines of force. The electric lines of force start from positive charge and end at negative charge. Electric lines of force are imaginary, but in electric field the representation is real. The tangent drawn at any point on the lines of force gives the direction of force acting on a positive charge at that point. The electric line of force do not pass through a conductor. Electric field inside a conductor is zero. Electric lines of force start and end not the surface of conductor. Lines of force have tendency to act longitudinally like a stretched produce attraction, opposite charges and edge effect. Okay, next topic is electric flux. Think of air blowing in through a window. How much air comes through the window depends upon the speed of the air, the direction of the air and the area of the window. We call this air that comes through the window the air flux. We will define the electric for an electric field that is to an area S. Here these two figures shows about electric flux. If the electric field E is not to area, we will have to modify this to account for that. Think about the air flux of air passing through a window at an angle theta. The effective area is A cos theta, or the component velocity perpendicular to the window is V cos theta. With this in mind, we will make a general definition of electric flux, that is phi is equals to EA cos theta. Phi, you can also think of the electric flux as the number of electric field lines that cross the surface. Remembering the dot product or the scalar product, we also write phi is equals to vector E dot vector A, where E is the electric field and A is a vector equal to the area A or capital A and in a direction perpendicular to the area. Here we have to remember that the capital A is also known as area vector, and area vector is always perpendicular to a surface, and area vector is a area vector is a vector quantity and it is always perpendicular to the surface, which we consider. Sometimes this same information is given as A is equals to A into small n, where n is a unit vector to the area. In fact, we could also write the electric flux across an area as phi is equals to E dot NA. Forms say the same things. For this to make any sense, we must be talking about an area where the direction of capital A or N is constant. For a curved surface, that will not be the case. For that case, we apply this definition for the electric flux over a small area del A or del AN. Then the electric flux to small area is del phi, and del phi is equals to E del A cos theta, or phi or del phi is equals to vector E dot del vector A. To find the flux through all of a closed surface, we need to sum up all these contribution of over the entire surface is phi C is equals to closed integral vector E dot dA vector, or closed integral En dA cos theta. We consider flux as positive if the electric field E goes from the inside to outside of the surface, and we will consider flux as negative if the electric field E goes from the outside to the inside of the interested in the net flux surface. Gauss law. According to Gauss law, the total electric flux passing normally through a closed surface of any shape in an electric field is equal to 1 upon epsilon naught times the that surface, that is phi E is equals to Q upon epsilon naught. But we know that electrical flux through a closed surface is closed integral vector E dot ds vector. So closed integral vector E dot ds vector is equals to Q upon epsilon naught. This is Gauss theorem. Proof of Gauss theorem. Let's consider an hypothetical spherical surface having charge Q placed at its center. At every point of a sphere, electrical field is radial, hence making angle 0 degree area vector. At a small area, d phi is equals to closed integral vector E dot ds vector. So closed integral E ds cos theta, or here the value of theta is 0, so cos 0. So closed integral Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square ds. We are putting here value of E. So Q r square integral ds for a shape closed integral ds is r square is equals to Q upon epsilon naught r square into 4 pi r square, or we get phi is equals to Q upon epsilon naught. This is Gauss theorem. Application to Gauss law. Electric field due to charge distribution. For this purpose, we consider construction of a Gaussian surface. Now we have to understand what is Gaussian surface. It is an imaginary surface in the electric field. First, closed from all sides. Second, surface is symmetrical about the charges in it. Third, electric field capital E on the surface is symmetrical. Okay, so our next topic is electric field due to line charge. Electric charge is distributed on an infinite long straight conductor with linear charge density. We have to find electric field on a P at normal distance r. So firstly, we have to consider a Gaussian surface in the shape of cylinder having axis along conductor. It has radius r, so that P lies on the surface. Let its length be L. The electric field is normal to conductor, hence it is symmetrical to the surfaces of the cylinder. Here we have a or in straight long conductor, and we consider we have to calculate electric field at any point P. So we are considering here a Gaussian surface which is passing through that point P, and we have to calculate electric field due to charge distribution. Now closed integral vector E dot ds vector is equals to integration vector E dot ds vector for curved surface plus closed integral vector plus integration vector E dot ds vector for two plane surfaces. Here for plane surfaces, the angle between electric field and area vector is 90 degree, and we know that cos 90 is 0. So electric field at that point will be 0. So the total electric field is E integration ds for curved surface, and for curved surface this is a cylindrical surface, so the value is 2 pi rl. So total electric field is E 2 pi rl. The charge enclosed within Gaussian surface is equals to L according to Gauss theorem. So closed integral vector E dot ds vector is equal to q upon epsilon naught. Putting these values, E 2 pi rl is equals to L upon epsilon naught, or E is equal to lambda upon epsilon naught r. This is the equation for electric field. Our next application is electric field due to a plane surface. There is a very large plane surface velocity A. There is a point P at normal distance smaller. Let's consider a Gaussian surface in shape of a cylinder which has axis normal to the sheet of charge and containing point P at its plane surface, radius A. Electric field E is normal to the surface containing charge, hence it is normal to the plane surface of cylinder and parallel to curved surface. Now, closed integral vector E dot ds vector is equals to closed integral vector E dot ds vector for curved surface plus closed integral vector E dot ds for two plane surfaces. So, integration E ds cos 90 degree for curved surface and E ds cos 0 plus sign of integration minus E under bracket minus ds 2E integration ds, where E is uniform. So we are putting here value. So we get 2E pi a square. The charge enclosed inside Gaussian surfaces Q is equals to sigma into, or Q is equals to sigma pi a square. A is radius and sigma is charge density. Applying Gauss law, closed integral vector E dot ds vector is equals to Q upon epsilon naught. So these values we get 2E pi a square is equals to sigma pi a square upon epsilon naught. So formula for electric field is E is equals to sigma upon 2 pi epsilon naught, and this is the formula for electric field. Thank you.